Ange, we were sitting in here last week and you were talking about Yang, and you said the last thing I want to do is throw another young player out there at the moment. I know the context is very, very different with Matthias, but he is still 19. So I guess, do we have to kind of temper expectations a little bit with him given his age?
What is it? Apples and oranges, or apples and? I mean, it's we're talking totally different worlds. I mean,
He's still 19.
Yeah, but he's played in the Bundesliga for almost a season and a half. Yang came from the K League, which is no disrespect to K League, is a hell of a jump. I think in terms of the age, yeah, maybe you're right in terms of tempering, but we've got younger players in the team. It's not just about age. So we've got Archie and Lucas are 18, Mikey's 17. So I always kind of dismiss the age factor. To me, it's more about their maturity as a person and their experience. And, you can get two wildly different sort of beasts in terms of two 19-year-olds who maybe both have the capability of making it at this level, but in terms of where they are in their career, it could be miles apart. And I think Matthias is a totally different sort of thing for us and our expectations around him. I would expect him to play significant part. He will play a significant part in our sort of end of season for sure and beyond. And I expect him. I know he wants to make an impact, and I'd be expecting him to do that.
You say beyond. There was sort of some confusion, I think, coming from Germany about the nature of his option. If the club decides to take that up, is your kind of understanding that he will be a Tottenham player next season?
He'll be a Tottenham player, mate. Yeah.
He will.
Yeah, he'll be a Tottenham player. I think he'll show everyone he's going to be a Tottenham player in the next 6 months. So I didn't bring him here for 6 months.
Thank you.
And I'm intrigued by the powers of your persuasion. Do you have a special phone?
So your dealings with me over the last 18 months haven't convinced you of me having your powers? No, thank you, mate.
As a kind of smooth operator on the phone, I've obviously got it completely wrong.
Well, I think there's something to be said for honesty and integrity, and as much action speaking louder than words. I think I've got a pretty compelling story to tell, because I think when I speak to players, I'm not trying to sell anything that there isn't plenty of evidence for. So now I think most players, I think that's where they get sort of comfort more than anything else, because I don't think it's about smooth talking or about, like I said, selling or, I think there's a real good story here, which I really believe in, and I speak from a real sort of strong conviction that what I'm saying, it will come to fruition. I really believe that. So I don't think I need to sort of do anything special now. It doesn't always. I mean, you're hearing the success stories. There's plenty of people who it hasn't worked out. Yeah, plenty. There's been a couple this window. Yeah, which straight away there's a disconnect. It's not going to work, because what I'm saying and the questions they're asking, when we're on a different sort of page, and that's not criticism there, because people look for different things. So you're looking for some, something that resonates. So yeah, that's right. Like I said, I definitely don't have a 100% hit rate. That's for sure. But I think that's part of it as well. I think, I kind of get comfort from that too when I walk away and I'm thinking, geez, he's a good player, but I don't think he's going to be a good fit. So it's probably not a good idea for him, and it's not a good idea for us. So it works out well, either way.
Do you have these calls with all players, or is it in certain situations you get drafted in? Yeah. I don't like having conversations unless I think there's a real sort of interest there from both sides. Like, I just don't want to. I think it ends up wasting my time, and unless we're really convinced about someone and we feel like there's some sort of interest coming the other way, then I'm not going to get involved. And I don't usually get involved until kind of everything else has sort of been sorted out around sort of financials and all that kind of stuff. Then I know, okay, well, this is kind of the final box we need to tick, and then they'll kind of wheel me out then.
Are you comfortable, are you fully behind this idea that Spurs are building a team for the future? You're buying 19, 18, 21-year-olds. It doesn't normally fit with the short-termism of modern management. But have you had to be convinced, or?
No, I haven't been. I mean, I've been a sort of a big driver of it. You know, I really feel like, you know, when I took over, that you need to rebuild a team, rebuild a squad. This wasn't tinkering around the edges. I've said that all along. So, and you need, if you're going to do that, invariably you've got to go young to allow them to grow and develop together. And you know, we had some experience here, which has helped us obviously. And I think signing Dom and was an important part of that. Kevin to a certain extent, because he's kind of, you know, a little bit more experienced. But you know, that doesn't, you know, again, that doesn't mean I'll see the fruits of that labour. You're right. That's the nature of it. But I've said from day one, I'll always make decisions that I believe are best for the football club and best for what I think is going to bring success to the football club. That's the way I've worked. And you know, from my perspective, all these decisions are, you know, I'm as much a driver of as the club. I haven't sort of, no one's been thrusted upon me that I think, oh, you know, it's not someone who I think is going to fit.
You have no reassurances that, you know, that there's not two sides to the coin, for example, that, you know, we go in this way, Angela, that makes you a bit more secure because we all...
I'm not interested in security. I've said that before. It doesn't exist in the modern game, because it doesn't matter what anyone tells me. Somebody could say to me, oh, Angela, we're right behind you. And then, you know, I mean, I've lost him. So, I mean, I'm down to Ali, and that's about it, you know. And you're okay? You're solid? Yeah. Oof, well, I've got a couple. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I just got to get you on the phone. I know that's not the real world, you know. Ultimately, the real world exists around, well, if I keep getting results, then I'll be okay. If I'm not, then the invariable pressure that's been on me for the last, I don't know, feels like 3-4 months will still be there. And there's no guarantees about anything. So I don't worry about that. I don't care about that. I've said before, being a manager, especially in today's world, it can be so, you can feel so isolated, so vulnerable. I don't feel that. I feel like the playing group is rock solid. The staff are rock solid. I feel supported. That's all you can ask for. Where that takes us, time will tell. I firmly believe it'll take us to success, but there's no guarantees of that. I understand that.
Just go, if I may, one more on youthfulness. You go talk about Anfield and what you expect there. Galatasaray, Ibrox, Everton even, you didn't start well in any of them games when you were hot. Is that inexperience, youthfulness, something that teams have to go?
No, it is part of the experience. I mean, I thought we handled, I mean, I know people say it differently, but, you know, we handled sort of Old Trafford pretty well, which I think is also, you know, pretty intimidating. It can be pretty intimidating. So I think we've had our moments at times, but I think those kind of things have allowed us to grow for sure. Those kind of experiences, especially some of our younger players, because, you know, for a lot of them, they're still first. Like, for a lot of them, it's going to be first at Anfield tomorrow night. You know, people kind of dismiss the fact that it is such a young group, that a lot of them are doing things for the first time that all you guys have kind of experienced in multiple events. So, but I see that as a positive. The more we expose them, the more we put them in these situations, you know, the greater the growth will come from the group when we're further down the track. So, but I don't think, I think from what I've seen of the group and what they've had to handle over the last sort of, you know, 2 months, I don't think the atmosphere or sort of the conditions around the event are going to overwhelm them at all. I think they're ready for it.
What can a victory at Anfield, given how imperious Liverpool have been this season, do to the context of this season, as a confidence booster to all these young players, the whole narrative around Tottenham this season?
Oh, look, yeah, there's no hiding it. It would be massive because, like I said, it's not. I mean, we've obviously had to beat both Manchester clubs to get to this point. We've had to beat Liverpool in the first leg to be in this position now. So, you know, we get to a final. It's going to be hard earned, and like I said, going to Anfield, the way they're going this year, they've been an unbelievable team. They're so consistent. They're the most sort of settled, injury-free team in the whole league. I think apart from us, they're the only ones sort of in all the competitions, still having a crack in all the competitions. So, all those ingredients, if we can manage to overcome that and get to a final, I think it'd be massive for where we're at, massive for our future, and I'm sure it'll accelerate the growth of our players and the belief in what we're trying to do. So, in that context, it's a massive night for us. But I think we've earned the right to be in this position, even though it's been a real difficult season for us. So, I think we've earned the right to be in a position where we can make a big impact.
And on Mateus seems he's going to be a long-term player at Tottenham. I mean, Harry Kane's talked about him, Thierry Henry, glowing words, Julian Nagelsmann, there's loads of quotes about what a great player he is. Can you just give us a sense of what an exciting, global talent you've managed to acquire?
Yeah, I mean, obviously my opinion is worthless when you're talking about all these other guys. So their opinion weighs far greater. But that's the reason I've signed him. I think he's look. I think he's very, very exciting. I think when you meet him, you realise he's got that bit about him as a person who, like I said, enormous. Even though he's young, self-belief and confidence in what he can do and what he wants to do. Even though he's young physically, he's already sort of, in a place where he can take on, the enormous challenges of being an attacking player in the Bundesliga, and I think he can handle the Premier League. I think he's a goal scorer. He can take people on. He's got speed. Look, he is exciting. I'd be very surprised if there was a club that wouldn't be interested in somebody like him. So. Like I said, us being able to acquire, irrespective of the situation we're in, just us being able to get him in, the circumstances behind, I think is fantastic for the football club.
And just finally, I remember when Richarlison was injured, there was a quote you said, just stop asking about it for a while because it's going to be a while. With Mickey and particularly Christian, are we in that territory at all, or is it completely different? I mean, because it feels like it drags on.
Yeah, it probably does. It's probably why I probably get asked about it sort of on a weekly basis, and I don't understand it. They're two significant players, but I think whenever a player sort of is out for a sort of significant amount of time and gets re-injured, then I think you kind of err on the side of being cautious. Now, we could take risks with both of them for sure, and I think. Football's funny. They may be able to get through. Who knows? I mean, but the fact that there is a risk there, and with everything that we're sort of dealing with at the moment, I don't see the sense in us sort of pushing that through. I think. I mean, they're different cases, of course, but they're both just so valuable to us that. I guess the one thing I'm looking at is when we bring them back, I want them to stay back. I don't want them to have another setback because we can't afford to have another player in that position having a setback after losing Radu now. So, and I think what we've done with Richie has worked really well for us this time. I mean, the first time he came back, sort of got re-injured. He's playing more than I want him to at the moment, which is not great, but he looks strong. He feels a lot better. Like he was convinced when he came back that he was ready to go. I guess I need to get to that space with Mickey and Christian where they feel like look, I'm ready for the Premier League and whatever else we need to tackle.
Hamza.
You just mentioned Liverpool having a pretty much injury-free squad a moment ago, them also being in all the cups. Is there anything that you look to what they're doing differently? Their club says that they've been a bit lucky and also they've tried to adjust to how they train. Is there anything that you're thinking of doing differently or have been doing differently with your team this week?
Look, I think I said last week we're looking at a whole range of things. I think for us, it's really hard to sort of investigate on the run, and I think that's where you kind of you may make decisions that come back that weren't exactly well reasoned out. I've got a couple of ideas, and I think ours probably stems back, like I said, before the pre-season. I think we had a lot of players who probably didn't get the break they needed, and we started the season. We're obviously really bullish about how we wanted to go this year and we wanted to tackle everything, and we probably weren't ready for that, and we paid the price for that. And we have been unlucky as well, because not all injuries have been sort of muscle injuries. Vicario, which was a big loss for us, and obviously Radu, and even had things like Bentancur being suspended for 7 games, which again, did the wrong thing. We have to take the punishment, but the time it happened, we were kind of short of players. So there's a whole range of things that kind of ended up being a perfect storm for us. But we'll certainly look at the way we do things. I know people kind of look at our training, but I guarantee you, we have hardly trained for the last 4 months. I've said before, all of you could have done our training. Like, we've been playing games. It's got nothing to do with our training. We're kind of looking at our processes, and certainly it's not a situation we want to be in again. But I think the wiser thing to do is to kind of stay calm and investigate it properly and make sure we make the best decisions moving forward.
And how does that process work with you and the sports science thing? I was watching a seminar you gave like 5 years ago, and you pretty much mentioned that you like to let your team do what they need to do, and you just sort of oversee that. How does that work when?
Yeah, look, I really believe in that. I think, as much as I've been in the game for a long time, and that's not my area of expertise. You want to employ the best people with the best knowledge, and allow them to do what they feel is best. But it all has to correlate to one sort of central idea, is that how we want to play. So it all feeds from there, but I don't sit over their shoulders and tell them what to do. I think it's important that people are empowered, because that's how you get the best out of them. They have the knowledge, they have the expertise, and my role within that is to kind of guide and make sure we don't move away from the basic core principle of the way we want to play our football.
Last couple, Jacob mentioned
a lot about firsts that the youngsters are going to experience over the next couple of weeks. At the other end of the spectrum, you've got Son. It's coming up to 10 years. He Henry. He's not much trophy, but he looked really sharp in the last couple of games. Do you sense, I don't know, a different kind of determination in him? Somebody's gearing up to what could be for him just a special night.
Yeah, look, Sonny's been outstanding for us. I mean, I think, again, I've said before with Sonny, like, the extremes we've had to put on him this year is just, it'd be tough for anyone to sort of carry the load he has, both from a physical perspective, a mental perspective. I think he was unbelievable against Brentford on the weekend, but that's because he only played 45 minutes on Thursday night. Now, we haven't been able to do that. We've had to, if we had the opportunity to give him the rest he needs to be at his best, I think you would have seen him. But we're certainly at this stage of the season. I think he's really got a real clear focus in his eye that he senses an opportunity for us as a football club, not just for himself to have success this year. And I think him, and I think Ben Davies has been another one who really stepped up in recent times. 2 guys who've been at this club for a long time and understand what success will do for this football club, not just for them personally, which I think should be a driver, because I think Sonny, for the kind of everything he's done for the football club, I think it would be more than fitting for him to get some trophies to sort of add to his already sort of status at this football club. I think both of them realise what it means for the club, more importantly, and he has been, but he's going to be a big sort of part of us, hopefully, having success.
So it's just by the nature of it, both the 2 that you mentioned, they've experienced disappointment in some of these big games with Tottenham. Is that sort of a mental hindrance for them, or does it give them a bit of an advantage in that they know probably what not to do?
Oh, look, all these things, experiences, I think it depends how you kind of use them. They give you perspective, they give you understanding, they give you learnings. You can be at both ends of the spectrum, where you've tried and you've failed, but that's allowed you to grow, or you can be the other end of the spectrum, where you've never failed and you don't know what that looks like, so you just go sort of blindly into anything you're doing. So it's a balance of both. I don't think I don't sense with Sonny in particular, but even with Ben, there's any burden on them, or they feel like, oh, you know, we're going to fall short, or you know, there's something missing. I think they're as optimistic as anyone, and for the other guys, like I said, that you know, whatever this club's been through in the last sort of 14, 15 years trying to get a trophy, they're not been part of it, so they don't need to feel burdened by that. They can just go out there and try and change that.
Neil, to finish, please.
One more final question to finish. Are the red flags?
Do you want to phone it in and get my phone voice? Okay.
Are the red flags when you speak to players about that? And can you think of any examples? Feel free to give names where it's gone tits up.
Wait for my book, mate. No, there are red flags. There are, because, and like I said, it's because I'm 59 years old, and I spoke about knowledge before, but with age comes wisdom, which is much more powerful than knowledge. You know, so you get a sense of these things. You get a sense of people. I think I'm a pretty good judge of a person. Not in a, to contextualise that, not bad or good person. Is it a person that's going to fit what I'm trying to do here? That's the main thing for me, because there are fantastic footballers, fantastic people that maybe not a good fit. I'm not the right kind of manager for them. You've got to accept that. You know, it's not a judgment call on them in terms of a value base. It's whether does their personality, does their character, where they are in their career, what kind of questions are they asking. I've said before, if you get a sense by what they say as to where they're at in their careers, and you go, okay, well that marries up with what we're trying to do here, and so there are sort of red flags, and I think it's important that there are, because the last thing I want to do is bring a player here who's not going to fit, because it's not good for me and it's not good for the player either. You know, they've got a big decision to make, and they need to know what they're walking into. So I try and paint as clear a picture as possible of what you're coming into. So, and there's been times, again, I won't name names, where players have gone, actually, that's not for me. And I respect that, you know. I'd rather that than sort of, like I said, we all agree and everyone's happy. And you know, the worst thing you can do is say, well, geez, I've got a great contract, great money, and you come in here and you're not happy, because then you realise that that's not the important bit.
Just last week, how long did you speak to Tal, and how long did it take you to realise,
Oh, look, it was a sort of exchange that lasted sort of conversation, messages over a couple of hours, and I felt if I kept him on the phone long enough, I'd wear him down, and you know, he was falling asleep at the end, I think. So I got a sense pretty early on that there was a connection there, and he was hearing what he wanted to hear. Like I said, it's a big decision. He's a 19-year-old man at a fantastic football club. They would be quite happy to sort of keep him there, I'm sure. But he also knew that he needs to play, but not just play, you know, where he's going to develop, you know. Then I think it's a credit to him, then rather than just sort of jump at whatever came to him, he was really thorough in the way he made his decision.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Texan fans,